The Rotoworld headlines. Jameis Winston, who has a transverse fracture in his back. He did not practice on Thursday after not practicing on Wednesday. And then Michael Thomas, another malady, his toe. He did not practice Thursday either. My question to you is Andy Dalton a streaming option if he's playing? What are you doing with Andy Dalton?
You like the matchup with Minnesota. They're 29th against the pass over the last four, since the start of the season. But he's Andy Dalton.
He is
so
very much Andy Dalton.
Is he a streaming option in a one quarterback league? I don't think he is. But do I think if you're sitting there sifting through the Joe Flacco's and of the world of the Marcus Mariotas of the world, if you're down that deep, then yeah, I think he potentially could be. I would feel better about him if we knew Michael Thomas was playing. And we're not going to know. Here's the positives, if there is any. This is the London game. It's Sunday morning at 9:30. So we'll know who Andy Dalton has available to him if Michael Thomas is going to play. Jarvis Landry did return to practice today, so that's good news for the Saints and that offense. I'd rank him somewhere in the kind of the low teens. So I think he's a lower-end QB2, but yes, if he has Michael Thomas back, given the matchup, and that he's practiced all week with the ones, I think he's a viable, you can live with it, flex option. But he's not certainly someone to run to the waiver wire to grab. He's a if you're desperate option. I will say though, if Michael Thomas misses, that would alleviate some of the concerns I have about Cris Olave, because let's face it, Andy Dalton ain't Jameis Winston,
no.
And that is damning with faint praise. He doesn't throw it deep. He's not. Winston is the perfect quarterback for Olave.
Yep.
And so I think if Dalton were under center, you're probably still starting Olave, but you wouldn't be as excited about this matchup as you might be if Winston went under center and no Michael Thomas. You'd be like, hey, we're all in on Olave. By the way, Olave made the love list this week.
Yep. And Olave, he has, of all the high-volume wide receivers in the NFL, he has the highest average depth of target of everyone. We think that's pretty inextricably linked to Jameis Winston, so it'll be interesting to see if he has another dimension if it is Andy Dalton at quarterback, but hopefully Jameis can play. Now,
But something to watch out for if Jameis is your quarterback, who is a viable streamer this week against the Saints, if he's active tomorrow will be an important day as well.
Yep. Okay, another quarterback with a back issue, Tua Tagovailoa. Back and ankle issue. He's questionable for week 4 against the Bengals, but there now is the expectation that he will play. The betting market has been moving towards the Dolphins. It's been gone from Bengals -4.5 to now Bengals -3.5. So expecting that Tua will play. I assume we're just loading up Tua just as normal and starting him against the Bengals defense that is fine, but not super intimidating.
The Joe Flacco torched.
Yes.
Right. I think any quarterback, any competent quarterback, and Tua is a competent quarterback, any competent quarterback that has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to throw to, you like. You don't love the fact that he's missed some practice. You don't love the fact that they're traveling on a short week after playing, that insane game last week. But, yes, I would not, if Tua was my only quarterback and he's active, you're starting Tua Tagovailoa against the Cincinnati Bengals as well. It's been even though Cincinnati has, they gave up all those yards to Flacco, the fact is that opposing quarterbacks are averaging under 10 fantasy points a game to opposing quarterbacks. They did, sorry, I'm confusing Cincinnati and Cleveland. Joe Flacco actually struggled against them last week. In week 3, I'm confusing the Brown, activity. I'm getting my guys mixed up here. Candidly, I'll be honest with you, I was up all night watching hurricane footage. I'm dead serious about that. I have a ton of family there, and so it was just super worrisome. And so, anyway, back to Tua. What I would say is that I think you're starting Tua, but I would lower expectations. He's not somebody that I would play in DFS unless you're on a one-game slate kind of thing. So lower expectations, but still have him as a borderline QB1 in this matchup against the Bengals.
Yep, I'm with you on that.
What's interesting is a buddy of mine has this rule. I'm curious, as our betting expert here, what you think of that. But my buddy is like anytime after week 3, we are in week 4, anytime after week 3 when you see a team with a losing record giving points to a team with a winning record, you take the winning, you take that even if it's ugly. And so there's 3 games this week where that qualifies, right? And so the Bengals, despite having a losing record, are actually the favorites against the 3-0 Dolphins. The Rams, which have a winning record, are underdogs to the 1-2 49ers. And the Raiders, the winless Raiders, are favorites against the 2-1 Broncos.
Yeah,
and so I kind of like the Rams, the Broncos, and the Dolphins.
Okay.
With the points in any, are you with me on this theory?
I'm 100% with you on the Rams. I think that's the most wrong line of the week. I would have the Rams -1 in that game. I do think Dolphins, Bengals, I think these two teams are very evenly matched. It's just all the ancillary factors go in the Bengals' favor. Short week home team, more home field advantage on a short week as travel and rest and all that. Rookie head coach on his first short week as well in Mike McDaniel. Everyone on the Dolphins is banged up. Tua, Jalen Waddle, he's got a groin. Teron Armstead. So I do think that the Bengals will be my side, but I don't hate the Dolphins +3.5 for the reasons that you said.
Which I just said. To be clear, all of us have a groin.
Yes.
I know you said Jalen Waddle has a groin. I don't want anyone to think
slightly
that,
less of a groin right now.
Fair. I'm just saying. I want to be. Research has confirmed that in fact that Jalen Waddle is not unique in having a groin.
Very good. Now,
he does have an injury to his groin.
A guy who has lots of body parts that often get hurt is Christian McCaffrey. And we talked a lot about M. Night Shyamalan yesterday for kind of 7 minutes of the 60-minute show. And Christian McCaffrey is Mr. Glass from Unbreakable, where he's constantly going down. Are you worried about Christian McCaffrey? Because I will say that, yes, people pop up on the injury report. This one seemed a little bit more worrisome than usual.
It's worrisome just because it's him.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and he made the joke. He's just like, he goes to the bathroom and it shows up on the injury report. But yeah, that's what happens when you are the best player in fantasy football and you've missed as many games in the last 2 years as Christian McCaffrey has. Because prior to that 2-year stretch, CMC was a guy that literally was never on the injury report. Like never missed a practice, never missed a game. College and in the NFL, and then the last 2 years have been brutal. So it's a thigh injury this week. Last week he got placed on the injury report with an ankle, but ended up playing against the Saints. And so eyebrows raised. I'm aware. But if I had to pick a Panthers running back, if CMC were to miss, give me Deontay Foreman, who I think is just the better running back than Chuba Hubbard. Now, Chuba Hubbard, obviously, filled in for last year McCaffrey, but I just think Foreman's the better running back. Hubbard's probably the closer fit to what McCaffrey's style is, but I just think Foreman's the better running back and the better chance at a touchdown if McCaffrey were to miss. But let's see how today goes. I'm not panicking just yet. Again, I think it's important to him to shed that injury-prone label, and so I think that if it's 50-50, my guess is he goes.
Yeah, the two big superstar running backs who had the injury-prone tag coming into the season were Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. To me, McCaffrey's always been a lot more concerning because Saquon's injury is like he tore his ACL. That's not a recurring thing, whereas McCaffrey had his shoulder sprain and the ankle and now the soft tissue of the thigh. So it is a little bit of a concern. Now, the Seahawks, they placed Travis Homer on injured reserve, which in a nutshell doesn't seem super relevant or exciting, but he played 22 snaps against the Niners in week 2, and this should be good news for Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker. Yeah,
I suppose so. I mean, it feels like they haven't wanted to commit to either guy on third down. I'm hoping that it becomes Kenneth Walker. I know they're excited about Kenneth Walker in Seattle among the coaching staff, and Penny can catch passes as well. But yes, I suppose if there is a beneficiary, if you will, to Travis Homer going on IR, it's DJ Dallas, who, played all the snaps in the 2-minute drill and most of the third downs when Homer went out. Saw 15 total snaps. Rashad Penny got 49, though. Again, if you are starting a running back this week at Detroit, and I could see that being viable, by the way, I think it's Rashad Penny. So it's worth noting that maybe he gets a little bit more work, and maybe this opens the opportunity with a full week of practice to get Kenneth Walker, who is a rookie, some more reps in doing some of the third down stuff. So anyway, I don't know. I don't think there's a big fantasy impact to this. But it was very important to Steven D'Agostino that
you really wanted to get Travis
Homer in there. I don't know. Most of the show, I'll just be clear to America, most of the show is for you guys. A little bit of it is for me and Jay. And then about 2 or 3 minutes is for our producers to just do whatever it is they want. And so this one was for
Travis Homer.
For Steven, I don't know, who's like the world's craziest Travis Homer fan.
Travis Homer. Okay, now probably a more relevant development. low bar to clear, but Michael Gallup, who tore his ACL in January, starting to look like he is going to play against your Commanders. Now, what are we doing with Michael? What are we doing with Michael Gallup? And maybe more importantly, what are we doing with Noah Brown?
I think what we're doing is we're continuing to roster both. I think that Noah Brown is still potentially interesting this week in leagues in where you've been playing him because, again, we don't know how many snaps Michael Gallup's going to play. There's clearly a connection between Cooper Rush and Noah Brown. And let's be clear, my Commanders can't stop anything.
No.
Right? They can't stop the music. They can't stop dancing. They can't stop anything. And so Michael Gallup, in a game in which they try to ease him back in, Noah Brown, who has 213 yards and a touchdown this season, 15 of 21 targets through 3 games.
21 targets.
I mean, it's 7 targets a game.
Yeah.
Did that math in my head, by the way.
Yeah.
21 targets, 3 games, just boom. Like you're like, oh, Barry, are you a genius? Maybe. Not for me to say. Not for me to say. Some people are saying it, not me, but some people have said that.
It has been said.
It has been said.
Yes. In the hallways of Stanford.
In the hallways of Stanford.
Michael Gallup.
He's a genius. How did Barry get paid by this company to be the
21 divide 3, baby. Yeah.
Right.
Gallup had over 100 targets in 2019. 2020 was on pace for a similar amount last season, but he missed all the time. Like, this is a real wide receiver. But I do think that with Noah Brown, the way that he has played is going to mean that Gallup gets more eased in gradually just because they've got the guy who has performed. So I would still be playing Noah Brown.
I would too. I have Noah Brown ranked higher than Michael Gallup this week. So again, right, if you're picking somebody, but I do think Michael Gallup, who's not rostered in 100% of Yahoo leagues,
he's got to be.
Needs to be.
Yep.
He needs to
particularly with Dak Prescott coming back potentially in the next 2 weeks.
Correct.
Now, Wan'Dale Robinson, who's kind of been in your stable. You're a Wan'Dale guy.
I'm a Wan'Dale guy.
He didn't practice on Wednesday. Are we a little bit concerned about Wan'Dale? And also, what are we doing about the Giants pass catcher situation? Can I interest you in any Richie James?
You cannot interest me in any Richie James. 2 first names, though, always a crowd pleaser. I suppose, listen, against the Bears, maybe, I think Wan'Dale Robinson is the one guy for me. I know we've seen it from Kadarius Toney, but it just seems like he can't stay on the field. Doesn't seem like he has the confidence of the current coaching staff. Wan'Dale Robinson is the one guy that I would probably grab and stash as a flyer. I'm not starting him this week, even if he plays. Doesn't look like he's on pace to do so. He's starting to do a little bit of work. I would want to see it first, but I do think there's upside because there's going to be targets available in a competent offense. The Giants' offense isn't great, but it's competent. It's competent enough that Saquon Barkley is the number 1 running back in fantasy, right? And they're going to have to throw it somewhat. So Wan'Dale Robinson, who's kind of a gadget player who they can find different ways, whether it's backfield sweeps, whether it's quick slants, they'll manufacture ways to get Robinson the ball once he's out there, and he has the confidence of his coaching staff because this was their pick this year. The coaching staff and the new regime there. So, yeah, I like Wan'Dale Robinson as somebody to grab and stash, but not necessarily play in week 4.
Richie James is the number 1 wide receiver on the Giants right now by default in 2022. Richie James, number 1 wide receiver. All right, let's get in.
I'm the number 1 fantasy analyst on this show.
Number 1 mathematician.
Right. It's like, sure. I guess. Yeah, I guess he is, right? You're the number 1 Australian on this show.
It's true.
Okay, sure, but
you're the number 2 Australian. All right, running back.
I am a co-author of Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
It's true. That gives you more Australian equity than me.
I have 100%.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.